Yesterday, you may have watched me talk for around 75 minutes about the subclasses in Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt, which has now received not only a D&D Beyond Player Pack, which is very exciting, but also a 5.5e update, which is also very exciting. I will try not to use the word exciting too many times. I'm not fangirling, you're fangirling. Today, I am going to go through a spattering of the other things. I'm going to mostly cover the stuff in the player pack that's coming alongside the subclasses, and then I will talk a bit about some of the items and other things as well that you can get in the 5.5e update. It is still very warm, so forgive me being in this thing. This is how I move. My son, I'm not going to go into it. My son does this adorable little dance where he does this. I don't know where he picked up a Chim Chimney as a dance, but here we are. Kids are weird, man. Anyway, as with yesterday, today's video is also sponsored by Monkey DM and the Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt. So let's quickly talk about it again. Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt is an Eldritch horror FromSoft-inspired hellscape complete with monsters, people that become monsters, monsters that probably become people, transforming weapons, and so much more. The D&D Beyond Player Pack features 7 subclasses, 16 spells, 2 unique species options, and so very many items for you to play around with, including trick weapons which change in the middle of combat, and one of which is definitely not inspired, maybe, probably, by the Moonlight Greatsword from every FromSoft game. Alongside the player pack, we are getting a 5.5e update as well, with more than double the number of subclasses, a substantial number more species options, and a preposterous amount of stuff, as the PDF copy I have has 204 pages, and is complete with a massive number of spells, madness effects for your players to suffer through, or, revel in, depending on their vibe, I guess, and everything you need to set a campaign in the dying city of Liana. There's even rules for the moons, if you decide that the moon should be haunted, which it probably should be. It's always a classic trope. We love it. We love to see the haunted moon. Anyway, thank you so much to Monkey DM and Steinhardt for sponsoring this video. Let's get in to the species options to begin with. As with yesterday, I will be teeny tiny in the corner because it's the easiest way to review these PDF things. And as with yesterday, I'm going to start with this image because look at it. Do you think he wants to be friends? Do you think he plays fetch? I'd play fetch with him. This is why I would not survive in the wild. I'm fully aware of this. That and the hay fever. Anyway, the first species that is coming to D&D Beyond is the mannequin. These gold-laden puppets. They're very, very cool. A touch of gold, a breath of lightning, and hours of meticulous welding and articulation, a mannequin is born. Often called marionettes or living dolls, these creatures were originally creations of the Science, a Lianian sect that seeks to craft a force capable of protecting the city. Though each mannequin looks different, indeed they can resemble any species, the thin golden stitching that joins the plate of their artificial skin is a giveaway that the creature is man-made. Inscribed on human eyes inside their skulls are the instructions that all mannequin obey. More often than not, this includes a safety system that ensures adherence to the law and prevents a mannequin from turning on their master. In some cases, a crafter might even cause the mannequin to feel love for their creator. Don't do that. It's the old man in the wheelchair. Don't be that guy from Bloodborne. Not like generically old men in wheelchairs, obviously. Conceived as animate objects capable of carrying out the instructions, mannequin who express thoughts of self-liberation are often disposed of before these thoughts turn into acts. Though the Science intentions were initially noble, playing God has given them a taste for power, and they have no intention of granting free will to their animated servants. Dark? Look at that sword. Anyway, they can be custodians, handlers, or thespians. We love a thespian doll, makes perfect sense. Age. As mannequins are not alive, they do not age. However, the materials slowly lose the magic essence over time, meaning they will ultimately lose control over their entire body and turn into inanimate objects. That's a fun roleplay prompt there, playing as one who's losing control of an arm or a leg or something. That'd be a great fit for the circle of symbiosis that I talked about yesterday, where you're slowly replacing mannequin parts with parts from the earth and nature to keep control of it. Very cool. You are a construct, which is always nice. You can be small or medium, and you have a speed of 30 feet. If the Born to Serve trait, mannequins are made unable to hate or resent their creators. Their lapse in judgment affects you in all circumstances. You have disadvantage on insight checks. Starting off with a weakness. You do get resistance to lightning damage, which is nice, and you have integrated gold plating. Your body has built-in defensive layers. You gain no AC benefit from wearing armor, but if you're wielding a shield, you apply it as normal. When you select this species, choose one of the following armor presets. Infiltrator. Your AC is 11 plus your Dex mod. You are considered unarmored for the purpose of features that require you to not be wearing armor. You also have advantage on stealth checks. Sentinel, AC is 13 plus either your Dex, a maximum of 2, or your Strength, a maximum of 3. That's super cool. You are considered to be wearing medium armor. If you don't have training in medium armor, you'd suffer the associated drawbacks. Made with a drawback, that's rough. Or Tormentor, your AC is 16 plus your strength with a maximum of 2. You are considered to be wearing heavy armor. If you don't have training in heavy armor, you suffer the drawbacks, and you have disadvantage on stealth checks. You don't have a need to eat, drink, or breathe, and have immunity to the poison condition. That's pretty strong. Also, depending on what you were made for, you have different abilities here as well. If you are a custodian, you have advantage on any ability check to end the grappled condition. You also count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity. And when a creature within 5 feet of you is targeted by an attack, you can take a reaction to jump in front of it. If the creature is willing, you can swap places with the creature. You can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. It's a tank species. That's very cool. Handler, you gain proficiency in stealth and with the disguise kit. Additionally, you can have up to 2 melee weapons embedded with you in your body. I love embedded weapons. They're so cool. Oh, that's so good. Each weapon must either have the finesse or light property over the course of 1 hour, which can be done during a short rest. You can remove one or both and exchange them for appropriate weapons you are holding. You can draw or stow these weapons as you would normal weapons, and you can't be disarmed of them, short of having your arms cut off. That would be a bad time. You gain proficiency in the performance skill. As a bonus action, you can form a connection between yourself and a willing creature you can see within 30 feet via a set of immaterial strings for 1 hour. If the creature you're connected to doesn't use all of its movements in its turn, if it has multiple speeds, pick the highest one. You can take a reaction at the end of its turn to move a number of feet equal to its remaining movement. Once you form a connection in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. That was my thespian voice. Did you like it? Thespians are dolls often created in the image of a living being. Sometimes this is born of innocent adoration. At others, it is the product of malicious obsession. Well, and that's it for... I say that's it, that was a lot. Some of those like subclass-worthy features. But I really like the fact that this is a customizable species. So even though we're only getting this and one other species on D&D Beyond in the player pack, this is 3 species in a trench coat, which is sick. I like it a lot. I'm trying to think what classes I would use. Infiltrator being Dex is probably Rogue, right? Rogue or Ranger, maybe? Sentinel is fascinating. Medium armor. I guess Fighter or Cleric, but it negates normal armor, which is a bit of an odd one. So you have to be making the most of the other features to do that. And then Tormentor, maybe just Barbarian, right? 16 plus your strength mod. Wait, you're considered to be wearing heavy armor, so you couldn't rage as the Tormentor. Interesting. The other one we're getting is Scourgeborn, although we're getting a slightly tweaked version of it. I will explain what that is when we get to it. Borns should not exist. They are an abomination of the world, a vile curse placed upon those who peered beyond the veil and succumbed to madness. Their twisted appearance is but a mirror of the darkest recesses of their personality. All sentient creatures harbour a monster within their soul, the darker view that resents your neighbour for having a better life than you, that hates your friends when they ignore you, that wishes harms to those that wrong you. Do they have rejection sensitivity disorder? Mood. Most are fortunate enough to be able to hide this monster behind a mask of false virtues, not the Scourgeborn. The curse has taken the most twisted aspects of their personality and laid them bare for the whole world to see. They wear this disfigured appearance every day. The more resentment, hatred, and anger one possesses, the more monstrous their appearance. Many view this eldritch revelation as a curse that drives one to slip deeper and deeper into the depths of depravity until nothing but the monster remains. Yet many refuse to let it break them. With their innermost darkness now visible, they have no choice but to accept it. It is said that accepting a fault is the first step in correcting it. This is hopeful. I'm motivated. Those Scourgeborn who embrace their inner monster but refuse to let it rule them often become messianic heroes within the walls of Luyana, attempting to redeem the entire world with their actions and perhaps one day themselves. But that's the coolest flavour I think I've ever read. Bro, it's 30 degrees and it's a Sunday. You need to... That was adorable, wonderful, glorious. I'm here for it. Let's see. Aranea, the person who schemes and creates a web of lies around themselves, are bound to turn into an Aranea, also known as half spiders. These Scourgeborn different from others, though many turn, few retain their sanity. Amongst the Scourgeborn, Araneas are the least trusted, their appearance revealing their former or current manipulative personality. Although most citizens understand the need for violence, especially in Luyana, none tolerate deception and betrayal. That's interesting. And then those who harbour seething anger within oft turn into the most feral of beasts. Belua, also known as half-wolves, are the most feral of all the Scourgeborn roaming the streets of Luyana. Many of them choose to hide their eyes, as their intense bloodlust turns their gaze crimson red. terrifying sight for the uninitiated. Then we've got Service? Curvers? I think it's Service. Amongst the Scourgeborn, the Service are the rarest. To become a Service, also called a half-deer or Walschgrat. Man, I took a swing with that pronunciation. Let's see how that went. One must have committed the foulest of sins, devouring the flesh of their kin. Oh, or so the rumour went. The urban legend has long been disapproved, as many of the town's most trusted figures have turned into such creatures. Interestingly, it seems that those who become Service are the most apt at fighting creatures of the night, an achievement that earns them the respect of hunters across the city-state. That's cool. So you can be a blessed one of these cursed beings, which is fun. Those who hide in fear in the face of adversity are cursed to become these beasts of the night. Vespertilio, also known as half-bats, presents some of the most accursed beings amongst the Scourgeborn. The unwillingness to see their problems has taken a literal form, as most of their sight was stolen from them. Instead, they received half-broken winds and a cruel farce of fate, as if to run away from their problems. Yet those who harness these new powers can be some of the fiercest hunters and act a defiance against fate itself. Why are all of these just so cool? Is this a thing? This might be a thing. I do like a good defiance of fate. Here we see the Aranea, which looks sick. That would be the wolfy one, I'm assuming. The Curvus. Oh, that looks sick. Look at the cannon. You do get cannoned, by the way. And the Bat people. It's Batman. Man-Bat, actually. Don't correct me. I know. Anyway, let's see. Here. So, Scourgeborn are not made, not born. This means that they mature at the same rate as the race they originally belonged to. You are a monstrosity, you are medium, and you have a speed of 30 feet. Right, so in the book version of this, Born of Madness is good alignment. Your conviction grants you control over your darkest impulses. You have advantage on saving throws you make to end or avoid the madness, but have disadvantage on charisma intimidation checks. Neutral is you get nothing, and evil is you let the depraved monster within influence you. You gain a bonus to dexterity saving throws equal to proficiency bonus, but have disadvantage on saving throws to avoid or end madness. For the D&D Beyond version, the good alignment is instead your conviction grants you control over your darkest impulses. That's the same. You have advantage on saving throws to make or avoid the charmed condition, but have disadvantage on intimidation checks, okay? And then for evil, it's you gain a bonus to dex saves equal to your proficiency bonus, but have disadvantage on saving throws to avoid or end the charm condition. Okay, cool. So because madness is not coming to the D&D Beyond one, we're getting those charmed conditions instead, which is generic, but like useful too. Let's see. Eldritch Curse. Your curse is not something mere mortals can undo. You are immune to any spell that would alter your form, such as Alter Self or Polymorph spells. That's cool. Feral Limbs. You can use your horns, claws, or fangs originating from your mutation to make unarmed strikes. When you do so, you deal piercing damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier instead of the normal damage. If your alignment is evil, your feral side is more dominant. The die size increases to a d8. That's a really nice touch. And I'm hoping that the good alignments get something else at some point during this. Monstrous Lineage. You're part of a lineage that grants you supernatural abilities. Choose a lineage from the table. You gain the level 1 benefit, and when you reach character level 3 and 5, you get different benefits. Okay, so for the spiders, you get a climb speed of 30. While in water, you have disadvantage on all ability checks and attack rolls, because you don't like water, because you're a spider. Level 3, you can climb on difficult surfaces without needing to make an ability check. Once you use this for a minute, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. And at level 5, you can do the level 3 trait for a number of minutes equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all uses on a long rest. Okay, cool. For the Wolfy boys, you get advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing or smell, and whenever you cause a creature to become bloodied, you take 1d4 psychic damage as you attempt to retain your sanity. That's cool. As a bonus action at level 3, you can make an unarmed strike to feed off a creature within reach. On a hit, you regain hit points equal to the damage dealt. Once you use this trait, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. It's not bad. And at level 5, you can do the level 3 feature a number of times. You get a proficiency bonus. Okay, cool. I think that's going to be the thing. For the deer, your speed is 40, and standing up from prone costs you an additional 5 feet. That's quite novel. Level 3, if you move at least 20 feet toward a creature and then hit it with a melee attack on the same turn, it must make a strength save. On a failed save, it goes prone. The strength save is your strength mod, so this is for a strength build. You can immediately take a bonus action to make one melee attack against it. Once you forced a creature to make the save, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Level 3, you get it at PB times. And then Batman, you get blind sight with a range of 30 feet, but you have disadvantage on any ability check or attack roll that requires sight beyond this range. Then as a bonus action at level 3, you can gain a fly speed of 30 feet until the end of your turn. If nothing's holding you aloft, you fall. Once you use a trait, you can't do so until you finish a short or long rest. And at level 5, you get it proficiency bonuses times per day. That's really cool. I like all of those quite a bit. I'm a little sad we didn't get a cool upside for being good, along with the feral strikes, right? Feral limbs here, but I get it. The species is meant to be evil. If you're not on D&D Beyond and you're getting the other options, Should we take a quick look at some of those? I'm not going to go into massive detail about all of them, but we will take a quick look. So you've got the Accursed, who look like Moog from Elden Ring. That's gotta be an on-purpose thing, right? Aberration, 30 feet, automatic climb speed. If a blood moon is out while you are asleep, you have a dream. Black Goat places a compulsion. The Black Goat places a compulsion within you. You have to... You awake affected by the suggestion spell. That's amazing. Dark Vision of 60. You have resistance to necrotic damage, and you get spells. Spare the Dying, False Life, and Mirror Image. Ooh, Mirror Image. I love Mirror Image. Cursed Blood is these boys. Look, he's got a whole mouth in his chest. Age, you age real quick. You're a humanoid. You are 2 to 4 feet tall. We love a small species. 25 feet, but you do have a climb speed, but you can't use the climb speed when you're using medium or heavy armor. Dark, you've got a twin. It's a bit dark. A Demi-Dritch. I'm just going to leave on this artwork for a second. I really like the dark stuff. I don't want to go into it in a video, basically. So this is a perfect supplement for it. These are the Demi-Dritches. What is a Demi-Dritch? Demi-Dritches occupy a precarious position in the minds of the Luyanians, equal parts revered and abhorred. Born of a union between... Okay, so they're half Demi-Drit, Demi-Eldritch. Clever. I like it. You get different things depending on your origin. You're either Nebulare or Ocular, which is cool. Look at this. That is so cool. Humanoid, medium, 30 feet. Advantage on saving throws against the blinded condition. You also know the Cosmic Eye cantrip. We will get to spells. I'm going to go over the ones that are coming to Beyond and then have a quick look at some of the others. Astral Sight, we just covered that already. Dark Vision of 120. You get resistance to cold, damage, and Unleash Infinity. You can, when you reach level 3, you can transform into different options. Cool. Dwarves. There are some dwarves. Specifically, though, there's Deep One dwarves. So there's the dwarf, which is just the standard species option, and then there's like these other versions of them, basically, which have other traits. Breathe air and water. You get cosmic knowledge. When you make an intelligence history check to relate to the origin of an item or construct, you are considered to have proficiency and expertise in the history skill. Cool. Dreamer's Curse. You find it hard to discern between reality and dream. You have a disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws to discern illusions. That's cool. Although your body is covered in tentacles, clams, seashells, and other eldritch appendages, you are covered by an illusion that makes you appear like a typical hill dwarf to others. Other deep ones can see through it. You have advantage on deception checks against creatures that can't see through the illusion. That's very cool. You also get creepy arm. Oh, you get different things. You can have a creepy arm, or you can have a creepy pincer, or you can have suction cups. Very nice. Elves, with the main one here being this lot, the half elves, which we don't have in D&D 5.5e, although it is just a flavour thing by the looks of things. Humans, you've met humans, probably, so I won't go into that. Orcs, you've probably met orcs too. And that's it. So yeah, very cool. Let's go over the backgrounds we're getting with the D&D Beyond one. We're not getting Amnesiac, for reasons I forget. Got him! Such an idiot. We are getting Beast Hunter. Growing up, the menacing presence of the Scourge loomed over your life in the city. The beasts terrified you, destroyed your homes, and took away the people you loved. Driven by vengeance, fear, or a desire for justice, you chose to become a hunter. The Church, a mentor, or the Radiant Order taught you the ways of the hunt, giving you the knowledge and skills needed to defend your city and yourself. Whether you were once a simple citizen turned protector or a seasoned veteran of the First War, hardened by countless battles, you have become an essential line of defense against the darkness. Strength, Dex, and Wisdom as the ability scores. You get the Grizzled Feat, which we'll go over in a minute. Skills, Athletics, and Survival. You get Herbalism Kit, and then you get some starting stuff. We're not getting Cult Initiate. Too many cults. We're not getting Disciple. Too many disciples. We are getting Inquisitor. Look at this dude. Look at his hand. You are a steadfast disciple of the Radiant Church, filled with an unwavering faith and a holy zeal that drives you to root out the threats to the Church and its teachings. Your duty might involve questioning potential heretics, investigating signs of corruption within the Church, or combating the enemies of the faith. You walk a fine line enforcing the laws of the Church and ensuring the purity of its followers. You get Strength, Wisdom, or Charisma. You get the Faithful Feat, which we will go over. And you get Intimidation and Religion, Torture Tools, and some equipment. There's also not the Investigator, but yes to Marked for Death. You were once dead, but you got better. Is that from Ice? That's from the Ice Age films, right? I died, but I got better. Fantastic. But the mysterious blood moon of rebirth returned you to life, leaving an indelible eldritch carving on your body, the sacrificial brand. The mark on your flesh is feared by many, as it's believed to attract the terrible creatures that plague the world. To you, it represents the weight of your past life and the promise that this life will again end violently. Embracing your new life as a symbol of rebirth and sacrifice, you have resolved to use this opportunity even if it leads to countless brutal struggles. You can do Strength, Dex, or Con, you get the Grizzled Feat, and Arcana or Survival. That's very cool. There's also Scion. The artwork in this book is nuts. Worthless Husk, he's got a friend who is ahead. And then we have got the actual origin feats. We're not getting Curious. We are not getting Worthless either, unfortunately. Worthless is really cool. I'm kind of sad we're not getting it. I'm just going to go into that. You have to be below level 4 to take this. When you gain the Origin feat, reduce your highest ability score, your choice if they're equal, until the sum of your 6 ability scores is equal to or lower than 72. Then reduce each ability score by 1, so you get bad. However, when you reach level 4, and again at 8, 12, 16 and 19, you can increase 1 ability score of your choice by 2, or you can increase 2 ability scores of your choice by 1. You can't increase an ability score above 18 using this benefit. So you could potentially get 4 stat points at every one of those breakpoints by taking an ASI alongside that, or more likely 3. Lower than or equal to 72, there are 6 stats, so you are going to be taking, what, 12? Yeah, 12 average. So you're not min-maxing, but at level 4 you can go up to one of them potentially being at least 15. You can balance them differently than that, obviously. If you had 3 at 8, that'd be 24, which will leave you with 48 to go for the other 3, which is what, 16 times 3? Is that correct? Yeah, 16. So you can be pretty strong pretty quickly, but you do have to be slightly worse off to begin with. Oh, it would then reduce each one by 1, so you'd have 15 and 3 7s, logically, if you're doing point by. Maths! Anyway, Faithful. If you fail a saving throw against the charmed or frightened condition, you can choose to succeed instead. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. And when you roll a 1 on a d20 test, you gain Heroic Inspiration. Very cool. We're also getting Grizzled, which is this one. Whenever you make a saving throw against the frightened condition, you gain a bonus to the saving throw equal to your proficiency bonus, and you require half as much food and water to survive. You have advantage on survival checks made to forage for food or water, and when you become bloodied, you gain Heroic Inspiration. Very cool, very cool. There's also a bunch of actual feats. We're getting the first 2, which is like handy. I appreciate it. Brutalizer is a level 4, 16 strength at least. You increase your strength or dex by 1 up to a maximum of 20, and you can wield a weapon with a 2-handed property in one hand, as long as your other hand is empty or wielding a one-handed weapon. I like the complexity of that. I like this feat. What is it? Brutal Grip is the one from Valdez, which does something similar. I like it a lot. But this also gives you, when you reduce a creature to 0 hit points, your next attack roll before the end of your turn has advantage, which is cool. And then Cannoneer, which is a level 8 feat. You need at least 18 strength for this one. I'm going to read the flavor for this one. The best defense is a good offense, and the best offense is a cannon. Hard to argue with that. Increase your strength by 1 up to a maximum of 20. You gain proficiency with cannons. You can reload them as a bonus action instead of an action. You can take the bonus action only if you haven't moved during your turn. If you do, your speed is 0 until the end of your turn. At level 11, this doesn't reduce your speed, and when you take the attack action, you can replace one of your attacks with reloading the cannon. When you reach character level 20, you can ignore the artillery properties of the cannon. Along with that, your cannons deal double damage to objects and structures, and the weight of cannons and cannonballs counts as half for you. If you're going for the actual book, you also get Cosmos Touched, which is like Fey Touched and so. Marksman, to make you better with all sorts of books. Focused Hunter, to give you a focus point, which you can use on any one focus art, including the Jaeger's additional focus arts. We're not getting the Jaeger, unfortunately. Osteomantic Adept, which lets you gain a bonus whenever you cast an osteomancy spell. That's all of them. Very cool. So that's the feats. I really like both of the feats. They're both nice and straightforward. What am I sad but not getting in D&D Beyond? Kind of all of them, but Cosmos Touch specifically, and Focused Hunter's fascinating as well, but we're not getting the Jaeger. Same with the Osteomantic Adept, as we are getting the Bone Wizard, and also the Druid has a big focus on bone magic too, so it is a shame we're not getting that. Speaking of spells, let's go over the ones we're getting, shall we? There are so many here, so I am just going to talk about the ones we're getting, because there are so many spells in this book. It is preposterous, and they go up to level 9. We will take a look at some of them. So, for D&D Beyond, I'm going to go through those ones first, and then I'm going to pick some of the other ones, basically. So, Brittle Bone Throw is a cantrip. It's an action to cast. It has 60-foot range, and it's instantaneous. You hurl a splintered bone fragment at a creature within range. You make a ranged attack against the target. On a hit, it takes 1d8 piercing damage, which goes up, obviously, at the breakpoints. On a miss, you can shatter the bone in midair and redirect it towards another creature. That creature will take 1d4 as long as you hit them with the follow-up spell attack. Very cool concept. And then Gravity Spike is also an action to cast. It is a range of 60 feet. You create a localized gravitational field that temporarily shifts the landscape to impale a creature. Choose a creature on the ground you can see within range. The creature must make a dex saving throw, and on a failed save, the target takes 1d6 piercing damage and has the prone condition. On a successful save, it takes half as much damage only. So you're still doing damage with this, which for a cantrip is a pretty big deal. The damage then goes up by a d6 at the various breakpoints. So those are the cantrips we're getting. We're not getting Gravity Whip, alas. We're also not getting Bone Claws, which also makes me sad, but hey. Because it would be amazing. I'm really sad we're not getting this one. Choose a creature you can see within range. You infuse them with osteomantic energy, growing sharp claws from their carpal bones. For the duration, the target's unarmed strikes deal an extra 1d4 slashing damage on a hit. It would have been so good on a monk or a punchy barbarian, alas. We are getting Fractured Shell, which is an action, touch, and up to 10 minutes of concentration. You touch a willing creature, forcing spiked bone plates to grow and pierce through its skin. It takes 1 piercing damage. Very funny that it's just 1 damage to have bones grow through your skin. I don't know, tickles me mechanically. For the duration of the spell, the first time each turn the target is hit with a melee attack roll, the attacking creature takes 2d4 piercing damage. That's a lot of piercing damage, especially at level 1. The damage goes up by 2d4 for each spell slot above level 1, and if you cast it using a level 5 spell slot, the spell doesn't require concentration, and the duration just becomes 10 minutes. That's really cool that you can upcast it to remove concentration. Also at level 5, it's doing, 10d4 piercing damage? Every single, which is 25 damage on average. That's really good. Also getting Phalangeal Shot. You point your fingers in a direction. It's a finger gun. And your phalangeal bones fire in a 30-foot long, 1-foot wide line akin to the bullets of a gun. They regrow immediately, leaving your hand unscathed. Each creature in the line must succeed on a dexterity saving throw, or take 2d8 piercing damage. And the damage goes up by 1d8 each spell level. Very nice. We've got some gravity spells we're not getting. Silvered Shell. Here we go. This is the Paladin and Ranger spell. We're getting Spectral Slash. This is a bonus action to cast, and it has a range of 20 feet. You send forth a spectral copy of yourself to strike down your foe. Make a melee spell attack against a creature within 20 feet of you. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 damage of your weapon's damage type. You can then take a magic action to move up to 20 feet in a straight line towards them, and to take the attack action against it using the weapon in the spell's casting. The damage goes up by 1d8, and the distance you can move also goes up by 10 feet for each spell slot above level 1, which is cool. I'm assuming the range also goes up, but it doesn't say that, which means that there's no point in casting it any higher movement-wise than level 2. But it could just mean that I'm misunderstanding that. Level 2 spell. Speaking of level 2 spells, look at this. We're getting Arm Cannon. You fire out the bones of your forearm through your hand. Probably wouldn't make a bubble popping sound. Leaving a severe wound that immediately regrows and heals. Thank goodness. Make a ranged spell attack against a creature within range. On a hit, the target takes 4d8 piercing damage and must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed 15 feet away from you. If you pushed the creature into an obstacle, the target is impaled by the bone and has the restrained condition until the end of its next turn. Creatures that are large or larger have advantage on this saving throw. The damage goes up by 1d8, and the creature is pushed 5 feet more back for each spell slot above that. I adore this spell. I think it is fantastically designed. Please give me more ways to interact with the environment in spells. Good lord. We're also getting Blind Ambush. You blow on a whistle, releasing an inaudible sound. Choose a point on the ground within range. The first time a creature moves 5 feet or more within a 10-foot square centered on that point before the spell ends, an Eldritch Maw immediately erupts from beneath the ground, dealing 2d10 piercing damage to each creature within the square and knocking one of the creatures prone. Decide when the spell triggers. The spell then ends. If you upcast it, it goes up by 1d10 for each spell slot above level 2, and if you use a level 5 or above spell slot, it can trigger a second time before it ends. Again, very cool little bit of text. We then take ourselves to calcified memories. A level 2 divination, a spell, action, or ritual. Love a good ritual. You touch the bones of a deceased creature. When you do so, a ghost... Oh yeah, I remember this one. Basically, you get to see the last 6 seconds of its life, so it's 1 turn's worth of its life. This is obviously a reference to the bloodstains in Dark Souls and various other games. It's super cool. You get to see what happened as it reacts to the environment around it, but not what happened to it outside of that. Very cool. It has no effect on undead creatures, and once a corpse's death has been revealed this way, it can't be shown again for 24 hours. It's just cool. We're also getting Skeletal Tail, which is... Look at this dude. Every single bit of artwork in this book is phenomenal, and I love it. Our Skeletal Tail is here. Hello, Skeletal Tail. This is a bonus action to cast. Range of self, and it lasts for a minute. You grow a long scorpion-like tail made of sharpened bones. Whenever a creature moves into or within a 15-foot emanation originating from you, you can take a reaction to try and pierce the creature with your tail. Make a melee spell attack against the creature. On a hit, the target takes piercing damage equal to 2d4 plus your spellcasting modifier and is pulled to the nearest unoccupied space to you as your tail drags it in. This is for Druid and Ranger. It's cool. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a cool spell. I love the idea that a creature just going near you could be enough for you to be like, get over here! Which is probably why it's a scorpion's tail. Very clever. Aren't you funny? Yes, you are. Right, level 3 spells. We get in Displacing More. An action to cast, 10 feet, range, duration, instantaneous. It is so warm in my office. My office has no windows. Did you know that? There's no windows. I can also touch the wall. Is directly behind the camera, and then this is a wall too, and I've got a little bit of room here, but not much. Oh, it's okay. We're getting through it, psychologically. Right, Displacing Maw is our first level 3 spell. Your ribcage opens up violently, which is probably bad, forming a maw that attempts to devour a creature within range. The creature must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 4d8 piercing damage, and is transported through magic to a point of your choice on the ground within 60 feet of you, where the maw reappears and regurgitates them. On a successful save, it only takes half as much damage. When you upcast this, the damage goes up by 1d8, and you can also teleport them 10 feet further away. The idea that a creature has run up to you as a warlock or as a wizard, because that's the spell list that this is on, not that there aren't ways to get spells that actually, so from a third-party interaction standpoint, you can take Forest Sage as a druid to get this, which is very dark, but very funny. But the idea that you can use the spell as a way to get rid of a pesky creature that won't leave you alone and just get rid of them is just super cool. I adore it. We're also getting Osseous Impalement. Action to cast, concentration for up to a minute. Massive bone spikes sprout under up to 4 creatures on the ground of your choice. I feel like there should be 4 creatures of your choice on the ground that you can see within range. Doesn't matter. Each creature must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 3d10 piercing damage and be impaled by a spike for the duration. That's a bad time. An impaled creature is held aloft 5 feet in the air, has the restrained condition, and takes 1d10 piercing damage at the start of each of its turns. An impaled creature can take an action to make an athletics check against your spell save DC, breaking the bone spike and ending the effect on a success. The damage, both initial and ongoing, increases by 1d10 for each spell slot above level 3. Very cool. And then we're getting Spectral Fury, which is another Paladin and Ranger one. This is an upgrade to the previous one, basically, or a change at least. Is an action to cast. There we go. Action to cast, instantaneous, range of 30 feet. You send forth 3 spectral duplicates of yourself to strike down enemies within 30 feet. You can order them to strike one target or several, make a melee spell attack for each spectral duplicate, and on a hit, a target takes 4d8 damage of the type of the weapon used in the spell's casting. You can then take a bonus action to move up to 30 feet in a straight line toward one of the targets without provoking opportunity attack, streaking through a spectral trail and make 1 melee weapon attack. Very cool. The damage goes up by 2d8 for each spectral duplicate for each spell slot above level 3. You are using this with a Paladin or Ranger, so unless you're multiclassing. That's gonna max out at 8d8, although if you're a Ranger, you should be multiclassing. Paladins less so. Paladins get cool capstone features, and we love that for them. But yes, so you're doing 12d8 damage here with a level 3 spell, which is a lot of damage, but it's split between 3 creatures, or 1 creature. You can hit the same creature 3 times, which is great. I'm expecting to use this in a build at some point. Ichigo, maybe? Something anime-ish. This is a very anime spell, right? Level 4, Dread Scarecrow is our first one, actually. It's an action to cast, range of self, and concentration for up to a minute. You magically create the horrifying illusion of all your bones breaking and your body bending in impossible ways. That's just being hypermobile. Trust me, bro. Accompanied by the sound of a shattered skull. Each creature of your choice within a 30-foot emanation originating from you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or have the frightened condition for the duration of the spell. While frightened by this spell, a creature's speed is 0 and it has the prone effect, its legs giving out under fear. If an affected creature takes damage, it repeats a save at the end of its next turn, ending the effect on itself on a success. It's just incredibly cool. I love some body horror in my D&D. I do. We're also getting Maiden of Bones. Action 60 feet in a minute. A creature within range must make a strength save or be trapped inside an Iron Maiden of Bones. This bad boy. Look at it. The target is incapacitated and restrained. It's behind total cover and it can't be damaged by attacks originating from outside the Maiden. It takes 3d6 piercing damage. At the end of each of its turns, it can repeat the save, escaping on a success. The Bone Maiden itself has an AC equal to 10 plus your spellcasting modifier, so it can be pretty meaty, not meaty, but healthy. Hard to hit. Goodness me. It has 80 hit points, immunity to psychic and poison, but vulnerability to bludgeoning damage. If the maiden is destroyed, the creature inside is freed. Now the damage goes up by 1d6 and the hit points go up by 20 for each spell above that. Cool. We're also getting Marrow Transplant is our final level 4 spell. This is an action, 30 feet, and instantaneous. It's also very expensive. You need a diamond worth at least 300 gold pieces, which you will recognise as being a key part in Revivify. You drain the bone marrow of a creature attempting to steal its life force and transfer it to another creature of your choice. Make a ranged spell attack against a creature within range. On a hit, the target takes 4d6 necrotic damage, and then you choose another creature within range, which regains hit points equal to the damage dealt. Or, if it was dead for less than a minute, the creature returns to life with hit points equal to the number regained, which is really cool. If any of the targets do not have bones, the spell fails. Everybody needs bones, man. The spell can't return to life a creature that's died of old age, nor can it restore any missing body parts. The damage goes up by 1d6 for each spell level. So it doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but it does also revive someone. But it's a little riskier than because you also need to attack someone. It's a fascinating way of doing things. Look at this artwork for a second. I think this is the last spell, actually. The last spell is Forest of Dread. Which is a level 5 Conjuration Osteomancy spell for Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. It's an action to cast, and it lasts for up to 10 minutes. You touch the ground beneath yourself, and tree-like bones sprout from the ground in a 30-foot radius, 20-foot high cylinder centered on yourself. Each creature of your choice in that area must make a dexterity saving throw, taking 48 piercing damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. For the duration, the area becomes difficult terrain, and when a creature moves into or within the area, it takes 2d8 piercing damage for every 5 feet it travels. You are immune to this effect. The Forest of Dread provides half cover to any creatures within inside the area, and the bones disintegrate when the spell ends. This is basically what if Spike Growth was edgier, which is one of my favourite spells in D&D. It is up there with Mirror Image, Chromatic Orb, and Finger Guns. I am a man who contains many layers. This is real cool, so big fan. That is it for the ones in D&D Beyond. So let's look at one of the level 9 ones, shall we? The level 9 Osteomancy spell. How about that? Osteophagia. The spell is the most lethal osteomantic power. You can cause the skeleton of a creature to liquefy in a matter of seconds and its body to collapse in on itself. Choose a creature within your reach. It must make a constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the target dies. On a successful save, it takes 10d6 necrotic damage. A creature without bones or that has a challenge rating or character level equal to or higher than the caster's is immune to the spell. Very cool. It's only against weaker creatures, but it's still cool. Look at the art, man. Oh, right. Mundane and magic items. We are getting cannonballs, the bag of cannonballs specifically. Weapon-wise, we get the Cleaver, which is a 1d8 heavy and versatile weapon with 1d12 damage, which has the Graze property. I love the Graze property. We're also getting the Scythe, 1d10 slashing, has finesse, making it one of the best finesse weapons, at least in terms of general, I want to do a lot of damage. The Cleave property and heavy reach and two-handed, very cool. We're also getting the Blunderbuss and the Flintlock. Blunderbuss is 2d4 damage and has Topple Mastery. Flintlock is 1d8 and has the Sap Mastery. And then we're getting the Cannon, which has a 120 to 240 range, and the Push Mastery, as well as doing 3d10 bludgeoning damage. But it has a weight of 90 pounds, so you do need to be pretty strong to get that. Makes sense, I think. Also getting Explosive Cannonballs, which means that they blow up, which is cool. Torch Tools and Standard Cannonballs, yeah. Finally, we are getting Trick Weapons. These are Bloodborne weapons. Nice and simple. We are getting 8 of these in the D&D Beyond version, but there are a lot more than 8 of them in the non-D&D Beyond version. They include things like the Meat Hookshot here, the uncommon variant, which is a battle axe, which can transform into a blunderbuss and sickle. While it's formed, it is a blunderbuss and sickle, with the sickle having the finesse property and the blunderbuss not having the two-handed property. Using this pair of weapons requires the sickle to be held in one hand and the blunderbuss in the other. When you take the attack action with the sickle, you can make an attack with the blunderbuss as a bonus action, ignoring the barrel property. Very cool. When it is transformed, it is a battle axe, which means it has the stats of the battle axe, and it also gains the hookshot property is, as a utilized action, you can launch the sickle from the blunderbuss, to which it remains attached by a length of sturdy chain. Make a ranged attack roll against a creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. On a hit, the target takes slashing damage equal to 1d4 plus your dexterity modifier. If the creature is larger than you, you are pulled in a straight line to it. At the end of your turn, the hook detaches and reattaches to itself to the blunderbuss. So that's the low level one. There's just a stick, which is my favorite one. You can break it over your leg and then it becomes 2 sticks. Just fantastic flavor. We're not getting the cool mushroom thing, makes me sad. We are getting the Dream Executioner. This is a maul that turns into a scythe. We're not getting the improved meat hook shot, unfortunately, or the rifling cleaver. Look at this. Oh, gravy. We're also not getting the moon gilded tar blood, which is one of my favorite Bloodborne weapons. Sword that goes into a bow is just cool. We are getting the ravenous grazer, which, as you can see, has some eyes on the outside, which is novel for Bloodborne. We're getting the uncharged claw, which is either a gauntlet or transforms your arm into a claw, which is incredibly cool. That can transform into the galvanized claw if you crush a live heart. I have a galvanized prowler with it, but in D&D you could probably just be like if you attack something with a thunder on it. We are getting the unstable crumbler, which is both a cannon and a maul. We're not getting the epi, so we're not getting the ethereal moon gold equalizer. You can get all of these if you get this, not on D&D Beyond. So if you just buy the D&D 5.5e update, and man, I think you probably should, to be perfectly honest, you get all of this stuff, which is a preposterous amount of stuff. We love stuff. We're getting the Orphan's Cradle, which is a morning star. We are getting Revelations. Revelations is both a cleaver and a whip, and it has a curse where it slowly eats your eyes, which is bad. It also has eyes on it, which means that you can never be blinded while you are wielding the weapon. I think that's what it does. Yeah, you can't be surprised. You're immune to the blinding condition as the sword absorbs the effect and closes 2 of its eyes instead before regrowing them. Very cool. And then the final trick weapon we're getting is the Shard of Moonlight, this bad boy here. This is an artifact weapon. It is a greatsword and a longsword. While you're attuned to it, you gain proficiency with both greatswords and longswords. You get a +3 bonus to your attack rolls and damage rolls. You have advantage on wisdom saving throws, except to those to resist madness. And you can use the weapon as a spellcasting focus. The Shard of Moonlight is a sentient weapon with the same personality as the Great One whose flesh it was carved from. The weapon sporadically communicates telepathically with its wielder through images and sounds, though it does not speak. It can also transform. In both states, it has the light property, despite being a greatsword, which is just wonderful. While a longsword, it deals an extra 1d6 damage on hit, radiant damage, and on each of your turns when you can attack, you can use a second attack, no action required. It has the void absorption property, which means it can absorb spells, and while transformed, you can only transform it while under direct moonlight. It lasts for a minute, or until you end it early. It deals 2d6 extra radiant damage on a hit, and each time you make an attack, you can expend charges to create different effects, like dealing extra damage and shedding light, or releasing a wave of moonlight, or an explosion. It's cool, right? But that is it. That is it, he says. Like, that isn't... So the video is going to end up shorter than this. I've currently been recording this one for a little over an hour. I've lost weight because of how warm it is in my office. Anyway, my closing thoughts on the Eldritch, on Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt are pretty simply that this is one of the most extraordinarily cool third-party products I have read. It is up there with Dr. Drollin's in terms of just having me giddy like a child, although you shouldn't let children read this one. I think it's absolutely fascinating, and I think the player pack is incredibly cool. My only sadness about the player pack is that we are not getting everything in this book. I think it's a bit of a tragedy, although I do understand why. I'm hoping that when the Character Builder 2.0 comes out, D&D Beyond will be able to integrate some more complicated things into the whole system. But until that happens, or we get a second player pack, this is a fantastic addition to any D&D Beyond player's arsenal, if you're allowed to have it, along with the DMs, frankly, the spells being all pretty evil coded. It's just awesome. And obviously this is a sponsored video, which means that my thoughts on this you can take with a grain of salt if you wish to do so, but I have also been reviewing things for nearly a decade in various spaces, and while it's not the people that send the products that pay me to review them, because that's not how that works, despite how some people think, I like to consider myself something of a professional in that sphere. And that's saying something, because I like to not be a professional. That's kind of my ideal. But that is it for me today. If you like the look of this, there are links in the description. Thank you again to Monkey DM and Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt for sponsoring my two videos. I feel incredibly lucky, but I won't wax lyrical on that. I will, however, say I hope that you are well and you are continuing to do well. I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead of you and you're having a wonderful week already. And I hope that you take care. Please check out the subclass video if you've not already done that. I'll just link to that one for today. And I will see you whenever it is that I next see you. Goodbye.